There's a retirement approach out there, a theory that says if you're young, when you're young, you don't need to save up for retirement. In fact, don't save up for retirement. Do I agree with this? Do you agree with this? I'm going to break it down, give you some perspective. That and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of The Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. We all know that the biggest woulda, shoulda, coulda in finances, I wish I would have started saving earlier. I wish I would have gotten started earlier. Well, hey, good news. There's an article that's been floating around for the past couple of weeks about a financial planning theory that says when you're young, you don't need to save for retirement. In fact, you shouldn't save for retirement. Guys, I don't know if you saw this clickbait. I saw the clickbait and I started reading the article and just, dismissed it. And then I had a colleague point it out to me. I was even talking to a friend of mine last week, and we were talking about this, this concept. And I said, oh, actually, this is sort of connected to this financial theory out there. And he was like, yeah, I saw that. So I don't know if you saw this headline, this clickbait. But listen, we got to break this thing down. I'm gonna kind of tell you what it's all about, share my thoughts and sort of next steps. All right, so this hypothesis, this theory is the life cycle theory, a financial theory. It was developed back in the 1950s by, Franco Modigliani, if I'm pronouncing that right, and his student, Richard Bromberg. And the big idea, the premise, is these economists, these thinkers basically said the goal financially for someone is to have maintain a stable standard of living throughout their life. And their thought was, and their premise with this entire life cycle theory is, listen, when you're young, you're not making much money, and really all of that money has to go towards that lifestyle. In fact, you shouldn't reduce your lifestyle to save any of that money while you're young. Just have it go to that lifestyle so you've got that established. But then the theory says over time in your career, you'll then start making more money. As you make more money, here's the key point, your lifestyle will stay consistent. And now all of a sudden you'll have more income that you don't need to spend, and that's when you'll save up. You don't need to save up for retirement for your future. When you're young, have all that go to lifestyle, and then as you make more money, your lifestyle will not increase. You can see where I'm going with this, and you'll be able to save all that money. And then as you retire, your income goes back down. Obviously, your income will be well below that standard of living, and you'll live off of your savings. And that way, you'll have this, throughout your life, you'll have this stable standard of living. What are your initial thoughts with that? There are parts of it that I've seen in reality, and I think, yeah, I completely agree with that. But the entire premise, I think, might work in a lab, but not in real life. And I actually think it'd be very dangerous to believe and hope that this is how it would pan out for you. It may pan out and work for some, but I would assume that some is a very small majority. So very dangerous. Let me break down why I am struggling, why I would disagree with this hypothesis and theory, and then what I'd recommend instead. So let's start at the beginning. The beginning of the thesis is that early on you're not making much money, and therefore it really should all go towards your lifestyle. And then as you progress in your career, you'll then start making more money, your lifestyle will stay the same, and that's when you'll be able to save. I disagree, and here's why. What I've seen in practice is that as you go into your career and you start making more money, you end up spending more money. It's very possible, and I think likely, that early on in your career, that lifestyle that you afforded is not the desired lifestyle that you'd like for the rest of your life. I think your lifestyle early on, when your income is low, is below where you'd really desire and want it to be, but you're making it work. And then as you start making more money, your appetites grow. This is what I call lifestyle creep, and then now I think that's more of a, not a creepy lifestyle, lifestyle creep. More folks, financial advisors, financial planners are using that term now. And so as your income grows, you end up spending more. But it's not just lifestyle creep, because it's all choice, okay, but it's not just choice. Guys, I'm married, I have 3 kids. I spend more money. Our lifestyle is higher today than it was when I was single and had no kids at the beginning of my career, right? So I'm not sure that's fully accounted for in this hypothesis that early on, I was very comfortable ordering 1 pizza and going out to eat once a week. That was it. I'd order in my budget. I would order a pizza once a week, and everything else I'd make at home or whatever, and then I'd go out to eat once a week. That was it. Did very little traveling. I'm sort of had the most frugal car. Dave Ramsey would have been really proud of me. Like all those sorts of things, I was fine with at that stage. No one was really relying on my income. No one was relying on my vehicle and safe travels and all that sort of stuff. And that was it, right? But life changes and lifestyle changes and evolves. And yes, it certainly changed when we had our first child. Life, got more expensive. And then as we added the second, and then as the kids grew, and then added the third, and then now they're into different things. And so your lifestyle, I would say, doesn't remain static over time, as I think this hypothesis suggests, where it's just level. This is your goal is to maintain this standard of living, this lifestyle for the rest of your life, just adjust for inflation. No, I think life evolves and life gets more expensive. So that's my first argument against this theory, this hypothesis. My second is to quickly dismiss the reason or the need to save early on in your career. You're dismissing your hardest working retirement dollars. The dollars that you save earliest have the most time to grow, ride through the ups and downs, and grow compound for your financial future. Here's a chart that demonstrates this. There's thousands of charts that are just like this, that if you save early in your 20s, early in your career, and then stop saving, and compare that to if you started saving in the middle of your career and saved for a little bit longer, well, which one do you end out ahead? No, the one where you started saving early, because those dollars have more time to grow and compound in interest, right? And so to a theory that says, nah, you don't really need it, you'll be able to catch up later, instantly dismisses your hardest working dollars, the ones that would have the most time to grow, compound. I mean, along with that is when you're in your early 30s or in your 20s, your risk tolerance, you're able to live with a little bit more risk without panicking or worrying, versus your late 40s or early 50s, when this hypothesis says, no, that's when you can save a lot. Well, your time horizon's different. Therefore, your risk tolerance is different. You might not be willing to take as much risk then as you would be in your 20s and early 30s. And therefore, again, you'd be shortcutting your hardest working dollars. And then also along the same lines of, I'm just shocked and I disagree with the premise that you don't need to save early, is what if you get to the point? What if you get to, the middle of your career and you've expected to, make a lot more money, and that's not true. That didn't pan out because you changed careers, you went through, your industry went through a nasty, downturn or had some significant changes, and you're not making more. There's no way to go back. There's no way to say, yeah, okay, that didn't apply. Let me start saving again. Let me go back to my 20s and start saving. No, it's too late. It's too late. And then my third, I'm going to stop at 3 arguments against this theory. There's more, okay, but just for time, I'll stop at 3, sort of plays on that. The theory suggests that, well, listen, if you didn't save when you were young, because you shouldn't, and then as you grow in your career, if your income doesn't really progress, that all of a sudden creates this room for you to start saving more. If your income doesn't do that, then you don't really need to save anyway, because Social Security will be there for you. Social Security will be able to replace the income that you need. That's what this hypothesis says. And I completely disagree. In fact, even in the article from MarketWatch here, you can see their sleight of hand trick. They're changing the words that they're using and make it seem like everything's okay and that would work, when in reality it doesn't. So take a look here. This says, in essence, the more Social Security replaces of your pre-retirement income, the less you really need to save. Social Security Administration and others currently doing research on what percentage of pre-retirement income Social Security replaces by income level, okay? So they're doing research on that. But listen how they change the definition, or how they change the word here. But previously published research said that Social Security represented nearly 84% of the lower income folks' retirement. So did you catch that? So one part, the argument is saying that Social Security will replace a lot of your pre-retirement income. But then the statistic that they used is Social Security was the primary source of income for people that are lower income. Well, of course, if you're lower income and you didn't save up, then Social Security will be the vast majority of your retirement income. It will, because there's nothing else for you to draw upon, right? So they're saying that Social Security will replace a lot of your income, but they're using the statistic to say, well, it is a lot of your income simply because you don't have any other to draw from, right? So one does not equal the other, and there's lots of statistics out there about this as to how much Social Security ends up replacing of your pre-retirement income. And yes, lower income, the lower your income is, the higher percentage your Social Security would be of your replacement, but it certainly isn't going to be enough for you to keep and maintain that same standard of living as the entire hypothesis suggests is the goal. You can see I'm getting a little animated here, and I'm going to stop at those 3 points. I do disagree with this hypothesis and actually think it's extraordinarily dangerous to assume. Now, is it so dangerous that it would never work for anyone? No, because some people just naturally say, this is my lifestyle. This is how I live, and if I make more than that, fantastic. I'm going to save all of it, and you know that's it. Fantastic. That's wonderful for you. But let me suggest a hybrid. What if while you're starting your career, you're making very little, and yes, you could spend all of it, but what if you saved 10% or 15%? Now, as a percentage, that means you're actually not giving up that much. It's a percentage. So a percentage of a smaller number is a small number, right? So you're not giving up that much. And you spend on all of that, but that amount, that 10% or 15% that you don't spend, save that for retirement. So then you're capturing the benefits of saving early and having those hardworking dollars, getting the company match, but more importantly, building this habit. So then if you are in a career where you continue to develop skills and throughout your career you start making more money, then I would exercise the second point of this, and I would try to avoid lifestyle creep. I would try to manage that lifestyle and your spending to make sure you're not overspending as your income grows, and that allows you then to save well more than that 10 or 15% that you started. You could save a lot, and I'd encourage you to do so, because then you could argue, well, then you've saved up too much. That's right. Then you've got choice. You could retire sooner. You could live more. You could increase your lifestyle in retirement. You could choose to take less risk. I would encourage you to do both. Do a hybrid. Save from your very first paycheck, and as your income grows throughout your career, capture those dollars as savings as well. I don't think you'll regret it. Work with your certified financial planner. I would encourage you, don't take the bait of this clickbait here and say, oh, well, I guess, here's what I was looking for. And guess what? I can eat all the calories that I want to, and I don't need to exercise. So I would disagree with this. Work with your CFP, build a long-term plan that you can follow, and then update that plan to see if you're on track and figure out what adjustments you need to make to get on track. Work with your CFP. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.